You're welcome back. Of course, we are on X Spaces, on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course on myjoyonline.com. Your comments are welcome. This afternoon, brace yourself to pay more for transport fares in the coming days, at least up until Friday. The Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council has announced a 20% increase in transport fares starting Friday, August 8, 2025. According to the council, this decision was influenced largely by three key factors. First, the lack of corresponding reduction in the prices of spare parts, goods, and services following a previous 15% fare reduction implemented on May 21st, 2025. Now, second, according to them, is the increase in fuel costs due to the recent introduction of a 1 cedi per litre levy. And finally, the escalating cost of vehicle maintenance caused by the poor conditions of roads across the country. The statement is coming to you on your screens as you have a look at it. So this is what the Coordinating Council has put out. And they say that in line with the administrative arrangement on public transport, the road transport operators, they've increased public transport fares by 20%. And this is taking effect on Friday, August 8, 2025, and to accommodate for the non-corresponding reduction, the three key issues that I brought to you earlier on. That prices should go up by 20% beginning August 8, 2025. And the new fares take effect from Friday. The fares, according to them, will cover the following types of road transport operators: shared taxis, intra-city trotro, intercity long distance, and haulage. And they are requesting all commercial transport operators, companies to comply with the new fares and also post same at their loading terminals. And they also request all operators, commuters, and the general public to cooperate for the successful implementation of the new fare. This for and behalf of road transport services. And this is a matter that we're going to explore. Some few hours ago, about an hour ago, I put this on my X page, and the engagement is quite huge. I've got people asking questions, condemning it, some saying that it is rather harsh. I will share some of the comments with you. My guests will join me pretty soon as we try to make sense of this particular matter that is before us. And so let's explore this further. And I will soon have in the studio the acting national chairman of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, Alhaji Tanko. We also have Samuel Amwa. Samuel Amwa is a member of the public relations team for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, and he is joining us on phone as we start this particular conversation. We'll also bring in the Transport Coordinating Council to try and justify this increment that they've announced, taking effect from Friday, August 8, 2025. But let me bring in Mr. Samuel Amwa. Mr. Amwa, from the GPRTU, are you on board with the decision taken by the council?
All right. Thank you very much for having me. Let me use this opportunity to say good afternoon to you and your viewers. Yes, we've seen some release from GRTCC, talking about they increasing transport fares by 20%, hopefully coming 8, that is coming Friday. In fact, when we saw this communique, we were a bit surprised because we have no idea about, this very increment. As we normally do, I believe our records will prove to us that this has never happened, that only GRTCC will come out with a communique, for increasing transport fares. Normally, what we normally do is that anytime there has to be an increment, the GPRTU, the GRTCC will meet the Transport Ministry, will all come up with a negotiation that we agree on the 2% that we have to increase. Then we come up with a joint
statement.
And then GRTCC, the person who will sign on behalf of GRTCC will be Mr. Ohini Ebua. Then the Godfred Abubu will also sign on behalf of GPRTC. This has been the norm. This has been what we've been practicing for all this while. So this time around, when we saw this communique, we were a bit surprised for GRTCC coming up with this communique.
So is this entirely new to you? I mean, prior to this statement coming up, had there been a meeting to decide on whether to increase first or keep it at where it is?
I find it a bit difficult hearing from you because the voice is very down. I believe if you can come up again.
All right, so I was asking whether this statement coming from the council is new to you. And I'm asking whether there's been meeting prior to this statement coming out that the GPRTU was part of.
Yes, if I can hear you very well, then it means that we want to find out if this very increment from GRTCC is new to us. Is that not it?
Yes, and then whether prior to the announcement, whether you were part of any meeting that decided on this.
No. Yeah, number one, it's very new to us, and two, we are not part of whatever agreement that they have. We were not informed as we normally do. Nothing of that sort came to us as GPRTU. It means that we are not informed. That is why I said earlier that we were a bit surprised when the GRTCC came up with this communique, because this has not been the practices we've been going through for all this while.
So Mr. Moab, GPRTU was never part of any meeting to fix transport fares?
Never. GPRTU has never been engaged, with either the ministry or the GRTCC to come up with a transport fare increment. No, we have not been engaged. We are not part of any, meeting of that sort.
So therefore, what do you make of this? They say that this should take effect beginning Friday, August 8, 2025. Are you saying that your members will not comply?
Yes, what we are doing now is the leadership of GPRTU is engaging the transport ministry, because we normally don't just come up with the transport fare increment. Anytime we want to do increment, together with the GRTCC, we go to the transport ministry, then we had an engagement. So that is exactly what we want to do now, between today and tomorrow. Even today, the leadership was trying to get in touch with the transport ministry, but they couldn't hold. So I believe by tomorrow, the leadership of GPRTU is meeting the transport ministry to talk about this, to find out from them whether the GRTCC consulted them or there has been an engagement between the GRTCC and the transport ministry. If not, then I believe the transport ministry has to call a meeting to invite the GRTCC. Then we talk about it before the Friday. Else, it's going to create a lot of confusion, because the drivers out there and the passengers out there don't know, which vehicle belongs to the GRTCC and which vehicle belongs to the GPRTU. All they know is the vehicle is coming and I get on board. And it shouldn't happen that one party will be increasing transport fares and another party will also say that we are not increasing. It will bring a whole lot of confusion. This has not been the practices that we've been going through.
All right, so I just wanted to find out. So on Friday, if this meeting does not come on, and Friday is the date that they've set for the new fares to take effect, you are telling your members that they should charge the old price?
Yeah, inshallah, we believe that this meeting will surely come. I think this is not the first time a group, has come up with a proposed transport fare increment. This is not the first time. And normally when it comes like that, we do see some communique from the concerned drivers, the true drivers. They normally come up. When it comes like that, GPRTU, undisputedly, we are the largest transport organization in the nation. And all these small, we give that to them. So when things of this, something like this happens, we do invite them, they will sit down with judge. So that is exactly what we are going to do. And we believe for Friday, all the tension come down, then we all, come up with what we are supposed to come up with. But before then, what we tell our members that they should all come down, nobody should, go ahead and, think of increasing transport fares. We are working things together. If it comes up that we want to increase transport fares, we'll come up with a joint communique, then the public and the drivers will also know about it.
Let me walk you through the three main issues that perhaps influence the council's decision to increase fares by 20% beginning Friday. They say that for non-corresponding reduction in spare parts, goods and service after the reduction of transport fares by 15% on May 21st, 2025, and also to accommodate for the increase in operational costs after the introduction of the Ghana of the 1 cedi per litre levy, that is about 8% increase in fuel costs, and also to accommodate for the increase in maintenance costs as a result of the deplorable roads across the country. Is this something that you identify with?
Yes, what they quoted is 100% right. When we first met the transport ministry, when we were asked to reduce our transport fares by 15%, these are some of the concerns we raised. We told them that, yes, the fuel price has come down all right, but the spare parts and the other components are still up. And that the promise they gave to us was that they are going to work it out for them to also, come down, to reduce it, of which the GRTCC was also part of that meeting. So this time around, we find out that no, those things are still up. There has never been any reduction on the spare parts or the lubricant and other components.
Right.
So it's 100% true. But what we are saying is, we went there together. All these communications were done together. All these meetings, we held it together with the GRTCC. So now there has to be something that we are supposed to come up with something. It has to be a joint something. It shouldn't be that only the GRTCC will come up with it. It has never happened before. Yes, we also said the same content. We also know all this. All right, we also know all this, that we are putting things together. Then we invite parties, we call on the GRTCC, then we meet transport ministry. Then we come up with a percentage that we think where things have gotten to, where we think, or what we think the increment is, let me put it into the percentage that we think if we get, it will support or it will help our business. That is exactly what we are planning, or we are putting things together. So it's not like we are saying that spare parts are still not up and all the other components. Everything is up now. It's only that the fuel price, where it went to and where they reduce it to, that it calls for the reduction, the 15% reduction. It has not gotten to where it was before, but the other components are still up.
And the statement doesn't make any exception. The statement is quite clear that all shared taxis, intra-city trotro, intercity long distance and haulage businesses are all affected by the increment. You say that until there is a meeting to clarify this with the transport minister, members of GPRTU should not, comply with the directive to increase fares by 20% beginning Friday.
Yes, that is exactly what we are saying. That is why we are saying that we are engaging the transport ministry. Then we are also engaged the GRTCC. Then we all come up with an agreement so that we will not confuse our members.
Do you know when this meeting will commence?
Come again?
I'm asking whether you know when this meeting will commence, because time is of the essence.
Yes. I believe the way today, they couldn't meet. I believe that by tomorrow there is going to be this meeting and we will come up with a conclusion.
All right. Mr. Amar, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. The call from GPRTU is that they were not part of this meeting called by the Transport Coordinating Council, and the Coordinating Council came to a decision that based on some 3 issues, they are asking members to increase transport fares by 20% beginning Friday, August 8, 2025. Now, among the reasons why they've taken this route is they say that for the non-corresponding reduction in spare parts, goods and services after the reduction of transport fares by 15%, also to accommodate for the 1 cedi, and also to accommodate for the increase in maintenance as a result of deplorable roads. Now, remember that when the dollar, the cedi started appreciating, government put pressure on some institutions and organizations to take steps to reduce their prices. One of them was actually Kuta. Now, I know that spare parts did not fall under it. One of the key reasons the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council gives for the increase in transport fares is the failure of traders to reduce prices of goods and services. It will be recalled that the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, and the Association of Ghana Industries announced a 60-day window for businesses to adjust prices in response to the cedi gains against the US dollar. And following extensive engagement with the Trade Ministry, the Minister herself, Elizabeth Owusu, that pledge was made on the 14th of May. So it is good time to get to understand what may have stalled, whether prices have gone down. The drivers say they are not seeing it, the reason why they also want to up their prices. Mr. Joseph Oben is president of GUTA Energy Supervisor. Mr. Oben, good to see you. So we are yet to see a downward review of prices. Why is it so?
Yeah, so I do not understand where that negative speculation is coming from, because there has been a considerable reduction of goods. Goods have responded positively to the stability of the local currency. But my problem is as to our expectation, the level of reduction in prices that people of Ghana are expecting. You see, we've told you several times that we also have our own challenges, even though we are transferring some of the gains so far gotten to the consuming public, including that of spare parts. So it is true, goods have responded positively, but maybe the rate at which people were expecting, because we are not even having the access to the to forest through the mainstream banks, and for that matter, we cannot benchmark us with the Bank of Ghana rates. We transact about 70% of our transactional rate derives from a black market and then the forest bureaus. So these, among other things like the VAT, that needs to be restructured.
So we were saying that we are not getting dollars from the banks?
Yeah, for about 2 months now, that has been the trend. That when we are transferring money to your suppliers, sometimes it delays for about 2 weeks. Sometimes you are told that they don't have the forest. And we've communicated with the Bank of Ghana severally, and Bank of Ghana has also assured us that they have enough forest that we don't have to be panicked. So we don't understand that. So the problem is persistent. So if you look at all that, then you might think that there's a gain in the stability of the local currency. But if you are not having access to the forest, then we are not practically having any gain, since we are doing the transaction mainly through the forest bureau.
So therefore, if you are not getting the dollar, which is a main currency you trade in, if you are not getting it from the banks, then your only resort is go to the black market, and the rates may be different from what the Bank of Ghana is posting.
The difference is so huge. If you are talking about
how much, for example?
10.4, if you are talking about 10.4 for the bank rates, we are talking about 12.1 to 12.4. In the black market. So you see the difference is so huge.
Yes, almost so about 2 cities.
Yes, sir?
I'm saying about 2 cities difference from what the Bank of Ghana is posting and what we are getting from the black market.
It's very huge. The difference is so huge. And this is what we use to do our calculation. And then also the duties, the taxes on duties, and then the VAT, the structure of it. We have said that it have the cascading effect on prices. And those things, once they are not removed, the stability of the local currency cannot stand alone in fighting these prices. But nonetheless, if even we are buying the forest from the black market rates, which is about 12.4, we are talking about the forest rates that used to be about 15.5. Right. So there are still some gains,
of course, that
need to be transferred to the consuming public.
And the transport operators say that they are not seeing the reduction. In fact, they were forced to reduce prices at their fares by 15%. In your case, you demanded 60 days, and prices are virtually the same at the market.
Okay, so I made that statement to the trade minister some time ago, And I said that once they are able to sustain the gains that we have in strengthening the CD, and when they are able to do that, then I gave that time, that by that time we would have seen prices responding positively. But truth be told, prices are responding. The imported prices are responding to this stability. What people have been complaining most, about 70% Ghanaians who talk about prices not responding are talking about the domestic food prices like cassava, plantain, yam, peanuts, and what have you. These are today we are having meeting at the Chartered Institute of Bankers, and I reiterated this. The governor himself was there. And so these are the areas in the food inflation basket, the food items, the domestic items, that is not responding positively to the prices. But the imported inflation is coming down.
I'm curious to know what response you are getting from the Bank of Ghana in terms of making the dollar available to the banks.
Yeah, the governor have said categorically that they have the forest enough to feed the banks, and that in fact when we complained, it was the first time that they've heard something like that, because they were surprised that the banks would not have available the forest.
Right.
And so they said that they will convey meetings with the banks and then the Bankers Association to see where the problem is. And so we knew that in a very short time, once governor have given us the assurance, the problem was going to be solved. But it's still persistent. The problem still persists. And that you want to make a transfer and it will take you about a week, 2 or 3. And that is not how it was in the past.
The effect of what the Transport Council is intending to do on Friday, the effect is that if 20% increments is in effect on Friday, it means that transportation of goods to market centers, transportation of goods by your members will also be affected. And then you may also have to pass on that difference to the consumer.
It will be very unfortunate. As I've already told you, the problematic area for pricing is the domestic food products, the locally produced goods, foods, like yam, like tomato, like all these things. And so if we slap 20%, then we should be in a form of a problem. And that government should step up and find a means to negotiate with these drivers. And then if they can come down, because of course, if they also have a cost in their operation, you cannot tell them not to pass it on. This is business, and that people should survive through their businesses. But then 20% increment, I think, is too much on the higher side. But don't also forget that they were levied lately, and that all those things also accumulate to the fact that they have to find some means to get claim their losses.
Okay. Mr. Oben, thank you so much for your time. Let me bring in the acting national chairman of the Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, and he joins me via phone. Let me see if I can bring in Alhaji as he joins me via phone. So, Alhaji Tanko, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, sir.
So, Alhaji, why 20% increment beginning Friday?
Yes, because we too are facing some difficulties. Yes, because you know, when government say we should reduce 15%, we have reduced it. We have reduced that 15%. But still, the pressure of this thing, is papers, is on. And then government established another levy, which each gallon is 4 cedis 50 pesos, because each liter is 1 cedi. Each liter is 1 cedi. And we use sometimes our truck, heavy truck, we buy 1 drum, 2 drums, 3 drums. You see? So the money we used to pay extra, apart from the what we buy the diesel, is higher. It's higher. And we are trying to meet the minister or something like that. We didn't get him to discuss. Nobody, even when the thing come, nobody consulted us. Oh, this is what is going to come. Government has made his mind to do this, to do this. Nobody tell us.
The Minister of Transport says that you never consulted them.
Yes, he never consulted us.
No, you didn't consult the ministry.
I have to consult him, or he have to call me and consult me. When he want to do something against about the transport, he have the right to call me to tell me this is what is going on. This is what we want to do. But not me, I will call him.
Alaji, the three reasons that you provided, and you've also directed taxis, trotro, long vehicles that go on long journeys to comply with this beginning Friday. The GPRTU says that they were not part of this meeting, and for that reason, it will be difficult for them to get their members to comply.
No, there is a GPRTU, there is a Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council. All the transport body in this country, it doesn't belong to GPRTU. There is a VIP, VVIP, OA, all they are not under GPRTU. So all of us, we are not under GPRTU. Ghana National Cargo Transport Association, a JAPTO, Joint Association of the Port. When you go to the Tema Port, those, the articulators, all, they are not under GPRTU.
I asked because in previous communications, all of you will come together and sign on the statement. This time, it's only two entities.
That is how we are doing it for the first time. But I don't know what has happened now. When they run and leave us to meet the minister without us, without our consultation, so what are we going to do now?
The GPR2 went to meet the ministry without informing you.
The minister didn't inform us, and the GPRTU didn't call us, and they didn't say anything to us. They are neglecting us. So we have to know what we do.
So this particular directive covers which group exactly?
Please.
I'm asking.
Please.
Yes, please go on.
You say this directive.
It covers which group exactly?
We are council. We are council, so we meet and then decide what to do.
My thinking was that the council is like an umbrella body for all transport unions. Is that not what it is?
The council is what?
An umbrella for all transport unions.
No, not all.
So GPRTU
formally, we are moving together with the GPRTU, and after they withdraw themselves from the council.
So
we can't force anybody to come and join the council.
Okay.
If anybody want to join the council, he can come.
So therefore, you will find no difficulty if GPRTU should decide not to go with the 20% increment you've announced. No,
we don't. We are doing our thing. So tomorrow, I think by Friday, we will know what to do.
Have you been called by the Transport Ministry for some kind of a negotiation? What will get you to back down on this?
We have been trying to meet the minister. We didn't get him.
All right.
We have been trying to meet the minister, but we didn't get him. But the minister himself has to call us if anything happens. Look, I'm at the Minister of Transport meeting since 2003. Since 2003, I'm always there. So if anything comes, it's been funny when they want to increase the petrol. We, the GPRTU and Road Transport Coordinating Council, we meet at the ministry, and then the petroleum people from Tema will come and tell us that this is what we want to increase.
Right.
So if we say, oh no, this your increment is plenty. When you increase, this percentage, which will increase this percentage. Maybe it will bring some harassment to the passengers. So you try to do this percentage so that we will increase percentage like. Then they agree. You see, for that time we work together, no problem. Nobody will accuse anybody.
Okay.
But now, when somebody will say he is a superior than the other, they can do their thing alone without anybody. And the country to know the transport body is not for one man. It's not for one association. Because you see, you can get this OA. They are not part of GPRTU. This VIP, they are not part of GPRTU. VVIP, they are not part of GPRTU. So the same thing, Ghana National Cargo Transport Association, they are not part of GPRTU.
All right.
JAFTO, the Joint Association of the Port Harbour, the articulators, they are not part of GPRTU. So not the only GPRTUs in the country. Somebody, if you want to do something, try to find the whole body. Me, I'm representing more of the transport people. I'm representing them. So when I went, what I will tell them, they will hear.
My final question, let me ask my final question. My final question relates to comments that people have passed when your statement came out. Let me read some of the comments to you, and then perhaps you can address the concerns that they have. Amwa says, all three reasons are not valid. Spare parts, non-corresponding reduction due to 15% reduction in fares, deplorable roles, the increase in fare because of the deplorable roles. Amwa says that your reasons are not valid. Captain says
our road is not good. We are managing. The road is not good. Everybody is low. We are managing. Carrying a food stuff from far away, from northern region, from Volta, everywhere to Market Center. Our road is not good. But we are facing no problem.
And then
when you carry a yam coming from north or Kokonte or maize, immediately you reach the axle load, they call you to pass through the axle load. They say you are over. And if you are over 5,000, 6,000, that's plenty money. Why? How much are we charging the people before we bring the food to the station?
Somebody also says that this is Simon. Simon said this doesn't make sense. You reduce by 15% in May, and just a few months on, you increase by 20%. Even the 1 CD letter is still cheaper than last year when we
increase, when we reduce the 15%, by then the levy of 1 CD per liter is not there. It's not there. It has come after.
All right. So your final words: is there any meeting? Is there any middle ground that perhaps that can get this 20% off the table?
Well, I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow.
You plan to meet with the sector minister?
Maybe.
All right.
If he try to meet us, then we will meet.
All right. Alhaji Tanko is acting national chair of the Transport Coordinating Council, and the council has announced a 20% increment in transport fares beginning Friday, August 8, 2025. The GPRTU says that they were not part of this meeting, and for that reason, they have a separate meeting with the transport minister this week, and so their members will not comply with the directive. We'll keep an eye on this developing story and bring you more. But have you ever wondered how transport drivers share their thoughts on politics, faith, or life in general? They let their vehicles do the talking, inscribing bold and personal message on their windscreen. In our feature title, Talking Trotro, my colleague Kaya Lagodia engages some drivers in Accra to uncover the meaning behind the messages.
Trotros are the most preferred mode of transport in Ghana's capital, Accra. They are affordable and the most convenient form of transportation. They are cheap and go everywhere. But there's something else that travels with them: Messages, usually inscribed on their windshields. From scriptures and religious symbols to favorite football teams and flags. One driver, Yeboah, uses his trotro to make a political statement, reflecting how he feels about past presidents and their time in office.
2020, I write, Mahama is better than this man. And after 2024 election, I write Mahama is better than that man. And I can't mention that person name because I don't want any disturb. That's why I write that man or this man. Any Ghanaian can know the person who I'm talking about.
It's not just for attention. Yeboah believes drivers should have a say too on national issues.
Oh, if you worry me, what can you do? You cannot do anything because you have a freedom of speech. And I didn't mention anybody's name. And you can say, I say this man or this man. If you are a sensible person, you see that I'm talking about this man, but you can't tell me that this man I'm talking about. Or if you see the dollar with CD, the dollar is higher than CD, but as now, dollar come down. If you see what is going on, everybody know that Mahama is better than that man.
Others, like Charles Bedu, share messages reflecting personal life stories and relationships.
Oh, I've wrote, baby, let me sleep. Because of that, it's not about maybe someone would think about maybe in sex way, but it's not that. I take my wife to Malata. It's my market woman. Every day, it wake up me in maybe in the noon, 3:30, 4:30. I take him to Malata. So every time when I'm going, I feel like I want sleep. So that because of that, then I wrote that in my car. I get some fans, private men, when I'm going, they say, oh, driver, stop, let me take what you have wrote in your car. So I know the reason why I wrote that one in my car.
The first trotros came to Ghana in the 1960s and were originally used for merchant travels and long-distance trade. Now, these vans serve everyone, from the average businessman to children heading to school. Many of the sayings you might see are expressions of beliefs from a range of religions and languages. And for some, they might even be used to ward off bad spirits.
2003, I started driving our Parkers. I am a class of message in the buyer. So bit me say me am in ba by any metro train last year metro Santrayon and che na me so dia to me do our Parkers auntie a do to no me kasa anunti na message in the buyer say metro sai Santrayon
so bi che wade a e wo so nda na ase senya kopo hwe wade a e wo so nda na ase as a children now good Allah.
Obi abedi di se ne atibia no ento ama ade sade na ko be hye no nyam obi asa kan de sa pepe enya de ade chi ade sade obi abedi
uniska oni abusua se wa no se wi asa ebe se wo ska abusua fo mo do uniska abusua fo mo no ko ka wa se mkura na ye ntie ba wo ska wo ba wa kura se wo se den Ubawa cry, I say, that was saying, Niska only Abusia. And I mean, who so I won't come with the woman is cano, the former Mobra, who is Sky, Robobra.
They may look like random words on glass or metal, but for the drivers, it's how they speak, without authoring a word. So the next time you see them on the road or at a lorry station, don't just pass by. Read it. It might tell you exactly what the driver cannot. Kaya la Guardia Yonamine. Joy News, Nkrumah Circle, Ghana.
Of course, you are still watching Joy News. This is a pause, and we've got a lot more coming your way this afternoon. We're also live on X Spaces on YouTube and Facebook. Away from issues relating to transport, let's talk about education, because the Ghana Education Service has mounted 4 security posts in conflict-prone zones to ensure the smooth and safe conduct of the 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination, also known as WASSCE, now which began today. Now, August 5th were the practicals. Now, speaking at the news conference, The Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Ernest Kofi Davis, said stringent security measures have been put in place to safeguard candidates and examination officers throughout the examination period, as well as ensuring zero tolerance to examination malpractices. Mamavi Sefakote has more in this report.
As the 2025 WASI begins on August 5 with the practical session, the Ghana Education Service has established posts at the conflict-prone areas to ensure the safety of candidates. At a news conference in Accra, the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Ernest Kofi Davis, outlined the key security measures that have been put in place to ensure the smooth conduct of this examination.
And so we've taken adequate security measures. I will give you some of the specifics. So we are in touch with the security agencies there. The student will have a security presence. We'll have some security escorts. So we are working collaboratively with the security to ensure that we have incident-free examinations. So we have the security posts. The security, I just spoke with the head of security there. We are getting the security presence in the school. The security will be there. So there wouldn't be any day students. All of them will be kept in the school under the security protection until they finish the exams. Those who will need escort will be escorted back to the safe communities they came from. So we have 4. You know the 4 already, right? One in Nkwanta and 3 at the northern region.
76 out of 144 schools have been implicated in various forms of cheating in the Ashanti region, casting a dark shadow over the integrity of the examination process. Professor Davis says no examination malpractice will be entertained in this year's exams.
I will, however, admonish them to prepare very well for the examinations. They should apply themselves to their books, and ensure that they do independent work during the examinations. I will advise them not to rely on APO or external help, because that will not come. We'll ensure that that will not happen in the examinations. They shouldn't engage in any form of malpractice, because that will attract severe punishment, and we don't want them to find themselves in that situation. We know the effect of examination malpractice on the integrity of the certificate and the education system as a whole, so they shouldn't do it. We want to protect the integrity of our examinations. The information for them is that they will be dismissed because if they are caught, because the GES Council has given GES the power to dismiss invigilators and supervisors who are caught indulging in examination malpractices.
In all, 65 subjects are expected to be taken in the exam, with each candidate expected to write a minimum of 8 subjects. Mamavi Sefakote's report for Joy News.
Well, so that clearly is busy time for the West African Examination Council. Let me bring in the Public Relations Officer for the Council, John Kapi, who joins us via Zoom. Mr. Kapi, so all is set for the exam. It started this morning. From your monitoring, is everything on course?
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for having me. Yes.
It looks like there are some technical issues with Mr. Kapi's Zoom. Mr. Kapi, can you hear me?
All the project work has started, and we can say that. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. Please go on.
So I said that the project work has actually taken off. All the centers that are supposed to be part of this project work have commenced their work, and then so we hope that everything goes on smoothly with our candidates regarding the project work.
All right. So of key concern is schools like Boku Senior High School and Nalerigu. What is the arrangement like as far as WAEC is concerned?
Well, for these institutions, we have been in touch with the local authorities, the District Security Council, as well as the regional Security Council, and they have all given us assurance. As far as Nalerigu is concerned, I got some communication between the branch controller in Tamale and the regional director for Northeast, and they've all given assurances that they've made provision, for the current.
I don't know if there appears to be some interruption with your connection. Let's see if we can get a better connection to you. Yeah, we'll see if we can get Mr. Kapiriwada on phone to have this done. The reason why this conversation is important is I remember that last week, 2 weeks ago actually, with the renewed fighting in Boko, leading to the murder of some students, government imposed curfew on Boko and of course Nalerigu, and also led to the temporal closure of the Boko Senior High School and also Nalerigu. The reason being that the place became unsafe for students to learn in an atmosphere of peace. So government adopted some measures to ensure that those who are writing the final exam will do so in an atmosphere of peace. And that's the reason why I want to understand from WAEC what the instructions are and how safe are they to hold the examination in these areas, because obviously government is not going with a proposal that students can be loaned, if you like, to neighboring schools in neighboring regions for them to continue with their examination. And for that reason, it is ongoing. The practical started this morning. The main exam is starting somewhere next week. So, Mr. Kapi, we're talking about the directive that you got in terms of dealing with the examination, especially in Boko and Nalerigu.
Right. So, as I said earlier, sorry about the poor connection. We've been in touch with the local authorities over the district, the municipal chief executive, as well as the regional commander of the Ghana Police Service, and indeed all those people responsible for security in the area. Assurances have been given that they are going to be able to provide enough security in Boko Senior High School and indeed all the other schools within the Boko enclave to enable them write the examination in a very peaceful atmosphere. The same applies to Nalerigu. I cited a letter between our branch controller and the regional director of education, who also indicated that he's in touch with the district security council. And so all of them are working together to ensure that there will be adequate security for the candidates to write the examination.
All right. So that means the examination will take place on the campus of Boko Senior High School and as well as Nalerigu.
Nalerigu, yes, that is correct.
And you are confident that your men, those who will supervise and vigilate, will be in a safe environment?
Well, yes, what has happened is that there's been a communication between our office and then that of the regional director of education, as well as the local authorities, and they've all, given assurance they are going to provide escort. They are also going to provide adequate security around every single person who is part of, the conduct of the examination.
Last year, for example, we had a conversation around examination malpractice. I don't know the strategy WAEC is adopting this time to minimize it.
Well, what assisted us for the BEC, we are going to replicate same for the WAS. For the BEC, we deployed a lot more members of staff from here. We also had assistance from our locally trained monitors. We had the GS supporting us. NIB was also available. So all these groups of people ensured that we had a peaceful examination process. So we believe that this year, if we applied, for the WAS, if we apply the same thing, we can be sure that we'll get very good results.
But usually people are careful when they can cite a precedent. Last year, some people were arrested for engaging in practices that were deemed unacceptable. What happened to those individuals?
Well, at the time, a number of them were prosecuted. I even saw the cases that are still pending. the list of persons who were engaged in this malpractice were handed over to the Ghana Education Service for further punitive action. Regarding the BEC, we've had a number of cases prosecuted. There were about 4 of them in Kintampo, others also in Brekum, all in the Bono region and Bono East regions. Now, the office is also meeting with some of the teachers who, were not sent to court at the time because there wasn't enough time to process them for court. But we are inviting them in here to the office in Accra, and we are having interaction with them. And as and when we're able to confirm all the irregularities that we're involved in, we would send their names as well as the evidence we've gathered to the Ghana Education Service, and we believe that action will be taken against the people who are found culpable. We
wish you well, Mr. Kapi. Thank you so much. Mr. John Kapi is head of public relations with the West African Examination Council. We're taking a short break here on the pause. When we return, the National Identification Authority, they've taken a drastic step of disconnecting the Ghana Revenue Authority from an identity verification service platform due to the GRA's failure to settle a 376 million Ghana cedi debt. How is this impacting on revenue collection? We'll have that details for you when we return. Welcome back. Now, let's talk about tax, and also let's talk about the National Identification Authority, because something is happening between 2 state entities that is threatening revenue mobilization. Now, scores of importers and taxpayers have been left stranded at the tax gates. The reason why they are unable to collect goods after the National Identification Authority cut off the Ghana Revenue Authority's access to its ID verification system over a 376 million cedi debt. The NIA said despite issuing a final demand in April and a warning in July, the Ghana Revenue Authority failed to respond or commit to payment, breaching their service agreement. The authority warns the unpaid amount threatens the sustainability of Ghana's identity infrastructure. Head of Corporate Affairs, William Amponsa Dallas, join us via Zoom to talk more about this. But before he does that, my colleague Isaac Kofi joins me in studio with some background to this story. Kofi, tell me, what do we know on this particular matter?
This is not the first time this is happening. Remember, exactly a year ago, the then boss of NIA, Professor Atifa, actually appeared before Parliament for questioning, and he was asked about some debt that certain state institutions owed NIA. And according to him, as at that time, both GRA and the National Health Insurance Authority were owing NIA in excess of 500 million Ghana cedis, if you do the math in terms of the conversion. According to him, NIA or NHIA was owing them some $58 million. And
$58 million.
$58 million for the National Health Insurance Authority. And GRA, as at that time, was owing NIA 288 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Now, according to the former boss of NIA, it's only GRA that has been allowed to actually pay some of these fees and charges in cedis.
Okay.
So he was questioned why you have debt of NHIA in dollars and that of GRA in cedis. These are their premium stakeholders. They pay that debt in cedis. And according to them, they've actually signed contracts with the GRA and saying that, look, we've developed a product called the Ghana Card. You are using it. You have to pay for it because we also have stakeholders that they are paying. And GRA, since 2024, the debt was around 288 million. They've not cleared that debt. Now that debt has actually increased to 377 million Ghana cedis, adding this figure to the debt in just a year, 89 million cedis. And we ask ourselves, are they going to pay this debt, in terms of the charges every year? Because when we did the math within this period, it meant that the VRA or GRA is supposed to pay NIA some close to about 90 million Ghana cedis every year for the use of the Ghana Card. Because if you are telling us that within 2021 to 2020, let's say 5, the institutions owe you 377 million Ghana cedis, and that is cumulative, then per our inferences, then that means that every year GRA is expected to pay a certain amount to NIA for the use of the Ghana Card. Now, what are some of the implications?
Exactly.
And we've actually spoken about the, people who were not able to clear their goods at the port. But beyond that, the NIA is saying that the inability of certain state institutions not paying their debts, like the NHIA and then also GRAs, that they will not be able to go ahead to print new cards because they have other stakeholders. They also buy software and all of that. They have to pay all of these stakeholders. And so Ghana Card, even if you're a state-owned state agency, you cannot use Ghana Card as a product for free. You need to pay for it because the banks are paying and other institutions are also paying. So what we are learning is that, NIA is actually demanding for this 377 million Ghana cedis that they said is currently the legacy debt that the GRA owes them.
All right, Kofi, thank you so much. Let's try to understand this matter even better. Now, the head of corporate affairs with the National Identification Authority is William Ampoma. Ms. Ampoma, Dallas. Ms. Ampoma, good afternoon and welcome to the Pulse. If you can kindly unmute for Ms. Ampoma. Yes, let me try. Yes, Ms. Ampoma, thank you so much for joining us. So, for those who are watching and listening, and they understand it's quite difficult, why should GRA pay you for the use of the Ghana card?
All right, so thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. So this agreement predates this current management.
Right.
There was a high-level policy, governmental policy, to make the Ghana card the sole document for identification. Now, if you recall, the Ghana Revenue Authority used to register people for the 10 number. And so all all clients or applicants that visit the NIA, the GRA offices in the past, used to register for the 10 numbers. Now, after that policy, the understanding is that the Ghana Revenue Authority stopped producing the 10 numbers and they relied on the system of the National Identification Authority. Now, a bulk data was given to the Ghana Revenue Authority by the National Identification Authority. I think there are about 3 institutions government institutions that were given the data: GRA, NHIA, and then Passport Office. Now, the GRA have a system that communicates with the system of the National Identification Authority.
Right.
So, for the past 3 years and counting, there were service charges that they were supposed to pay to the National Identification Authority. That is the 376 plus million Ghana cedis we are talking about. And so anytime, aside the bulk data we give to the Ghana Revenue Authority, anytime there is an update in our system with regards to people visiting our various registration centers to update their records, because their system communicates with ours, they are able to get the updates.
Right.
Now, I'm hearing the commissioner is saying they do not need the National Identification Authority's platform to verify people at the port and all that.
Right.
And that they use company 10 numbers and all that. But the truth is, as we speak, there are still people at our FOIA front desk requesting for rectification in our system to enable them go clear their cars at the port. As a result of the disconnection, there are people at our FOIA as we speak who got stranded at the port because they updated their records in our system, and we disconnected the Ghana Revenue Authority effective 1st August. So all those details, they are unable to get it. We are not happy with it.
And that's clearly, Mr. Mpoma, is, loss of revenue, especially for the state.
The reason I'm saying we are not happy with it, but we are also running an authority and we need this money to be efficient. It's already affecting our operations. And we've sent series of demand notice to the affected government institutions, and it appears they just overlooked it. So authorities were left with no other option than to disconnect them. As we speak, we have written to the Data Protection Commission to help us get access to the server we send the bulk data to, so we can return our data from the Ghana Revenue Authority.
You are asking for the return of data belonging to the NIA?
Exactly. But we cannot do that without data protection, because there are laws governing all these things. So we've written to them, and we are looking forward to meeting them so we can have access to their server and, if you like, delete our data.
I mean, and this clearly obviously sounds like you are escalating, for want of a better word, the feud that currently exists between the NIA and the GRA.
Interestingly, there's no feud. As we speak, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority is a board member on the board of the National Identification Authority.
Right.
So there's absolutely no feud. But as I indicated earlier, we are operating a system, and that system needs to be maintained. We can only maintain it through the service charges we are getting from these institutions.
Right.
There were 3 government institutions that were heavily owing us.
Apart from the GRA?
Yes, aside the Ghana Revenue Authority. National Health Insurance Authority, they were owing us about $58 million. The Passport Office, about $20 million US.
Have they settled?
They have communicated and showed commitment that they are ready to pay that amount so that we can maintain our systems and give them a very robust services. That is exactly what we're expecting from the Ghana Revenue Authority. But unfortunately, our last demand notice to them was last month, and no communication whatsoever ensued between us. So it was obvious they were just not looking our way. So we had to do what we did.
But I'm wondering whether in previous times, whether there was an arrangement for payments and whether GRA was meeting that obligation.
Yes, there was, and we stated all that in our demand notices to the Ghana Revenue Authority. They are very much aware of all these arrangements.
What has changed?
But I wouldn't want to delve deep into all this, but we had a press briefing, and this happens to be one of the issues we discussed. Unfortunately, it has taken almost the center stage of everything we discussed yesterday. But what I want to put across is, before we arrived at this decision, some high-level meetings had happened.
All right.
We spoke with our sector minister. We've gone to Parliament to meet with the Finance Committee and all that. So we did not just arrive at this decision without consulting those that we were supposed to consult.
All right. So, I mean, these are 2 public institutions, state-owned institutions, the NIA and the GRA. Can there be a middle ground to resolve this matter instead of the matter now taking a different life of its own, you are writing to the data protection to eventually take everything that belongs to you that is in the custody of the GRA.
Yes. Even after paying the debts, we as an authority have decided not to give bulk data to any institution again. All those that want to come on board our verification platform will have to come through the API system so that you will not have the bulk data we send to GRA, Passport Office, and NHIA before now. That is the new policy. So even if they pay all their owing us, all their financial obligations to us, if they pay everything, we want those that rely on our systems to do some sort of verification.
Right.
Or even those that have a system that communicates with ours, they must come through the API system.
Okay. And then my final question would be, so now that you've unplugged GRA, people have come to your office trying to go to the verification. What the implications for this, if you can just briefly educate us on it, especially for GRA and revenue mobilization at the port and some other port of entry?
As you said, there are a lot at stake with regards to revenue. And it's unfortunate that we had to get to this point. I know currently there are some discussions at the background, and we are just hoping that by close of day or even by midday tomorrow, we will be able to reach some amicable solution, and then normal business will commence.
And so those who go to the ports, they are most not likely to clear their goods because of this anomaly.
You see, the challenge is the other government institutions we are also owing.
They are also on your neck.
Exactly. Just yesterday, the electricity company of Ghana was also threatening
to cut power supply.
To cut, exactly. So if we also don't take steps to claim the monies that are owed us by other government institutions, we won't be able to offset some of these debts.
Clearly,
that is why we have to bite these hard bullets.
And I'm guessing that clearly, if these debts are paid and paid on time by institutions like GRA, NHIA, Passport Office, the NIA should be very much self-sufficient.
In fact, the goal of this current Executive Secretary, Mr. Wisdom Kwekudeku, is to win the authority of government subventions.
Right.
And looking at how much these three institutions are owing the authority, we can even pay all our debtors and take the authority of government subvention.
Okay.
I think that is even what government would expect from government institutions that are generating revenue, that you are effective in your revenue collection to the extent that you don't have to depend on government to, for instance, pay salaries, pay electricity bills, renovate the head office, and even maintain the systems you are working with, also to even buy equipment and all that. Right. So that is the goal of the Executive Secretary and management as we speak. That is why we are going after our debtors to ensure we get the monies owed to us so we can run an effective authority.
All right. I appreciate your time, Mr. Ampoma. He's a public head of communications with the National Identification Authority. We reached out to the Ghana Revenue Authority for some response. They asked that we sent them our questions. We did so. They promised to speak to this matter. As we speak right now, the person in charge has yet to respond to our phone calls for their side of the story. So we'll leave it here. Whenever they are ready to speak to us, we'll bring their version to you. But let's find out. You heard the NIA say that some people, some businesses that went to the Tema port, especially to go and clear their goods, were turned away because of verification challenges. They had to go back to the NIA office to have that fixed. Let's bring him Samson Aringobet. He is with the Importers and Exporters Association. So, Samson, how is it impacting on work at the port, especially for your members?
Well, thank you very much. I don't think that it is a good news for the business community and for the country at large. For us to wake up in the morning and hearing a fight between two government agencies. And ideally, if you look at these two institutions, I'm quite sure that Minister of Finance, GRA is under Minister of Finance, and NIA probably maybe because of the data protection issues, probably I'm sure they are also under Minister of Communication.
Yeah, the NIA is under Minister of Interior.
Okay, so the NIA is under Minister of Interior. So these are sensitive institutions because you need Minister of Interior to keep us security, and we also need Minister of Finance to collect revenue for the state. And so if these institutions are not talking in terms, and they can easily, agencies under these ministries can wake up overnight and then take such a decision, I don't think it's the best. But looking at the explanation from the NIA side, I think that it also demands some level of cohesion and respect from each other. That I will write a letter to my colleague, Director General and or Director of another institution, agency that we're all serving in government, and you are not responding. I think it's painful. And I want to say that if it's true that he has written several letters to the Ministry or to the GRA Revenue Department, and then they've not responded to him, and that made him to take such a decision, I will go with the NIA boss. But I strongly believe that GRA should do the right thing. Let me also state, without any fear of fever, that it is true. For those who maybe today, GRA will say that they have no side effect on them, and because those who have started the processing since yesterday or the day before yesterday, and they are clearing, probably they are paying duties, they are paying taxes. But for someone who's yet to enter the ICOM system, someone who says that my cargo has arrived and he has given his document to his agent to initiate the process to clear for him or her, that has to, before you go on ICOM, you have to enter the PIN. The PIN here is the National Identification Authority number. So when you enter the number, when you enter the number, what it means is that it has to hit GRA, and at GRA the NIA database is there. Then they will verify it to know that this number is truly this Samson Asake. This number really belongs to Samson Asake, and not that I'm using someone NIA number to do. And so it's going to have an effect for those who are doing the beginning, the initiating to clear cargo today. It's going to have an effect on those who have never cleared in the system before that. This is their first time. Right. And so if you haven't done that, then you cannot proceed on the ICOMs to do anything. So that is the challenge that we are having currently.
But Samson, are you getting complaints already from your members?
No, of course, I've just explained to you. The system is clear. If you want, you can speak to custom, and you can also speak to the service provider, ICOMs and others. You can speak to agents; they will tell you, because that is the first phase thing one will do is to enter. If you go on ICOM, is to enter the national identification number. Then that will have to hit GRA for GRA to verify it on the NIA database that is sitting with the GRA. And now that they have decoupled them, anybody who entered the NIA cannot proceed. So such a person cannot process anything, except those who had already processed and they were paying and they were yet to pay their duty, they are yet to clear. Even if that should happen, remember after the NIA registration, the previous GRA Commissioner General issued a statement and said that we are all going to use NIA numbers as our TIN. You remember?
Yes.
So something that we used to call a TIN from the Registrar General, that if you want to register a company as a new company, you have first of all you have to generate the TIN number from GRA before you can proceed to register the company at the Registrar General. TIN numbers were put away, and we're all using the NIA number. So what it means that anybody that is using NIA as your TIN would definitely have an issue. Even if you go to your bank, you cannot verify, because that is the challenge. Because the verification was initiated between GRA and the NIA. And you remember at the point NIA also issued a statement that if you go to anywhere that you want to do any work and they ask you, give my ID card for you to do a photocopy, you should not agree. All what you should do is to give the NIA number so that they will use the NIA number to identify you. You remember that directive that came from NIA. So they are doing all these things to also be on revenue so that internal generated revenue so they can also take care of their operations and their staff. So I think that ideally, I'm sad. I think that it will be fit, if this to continue this way, it will be fit the status of the, the paperless relevance that we are having. The paperless is to reduce the cost, to reduce people going to physically to verify. So with the NIA number, you can hit the system and then you can verify. And the point here is, why will GRA owe them up that quantum and GRA is not paying?
Well, let's leave it here for now. Samson Awingobet, thank you so much for your time. GRA promised to respond to this matter. They are unavailable as we speak. We'll leave it here. Away from that, the ranking member on the Parliament's Food and Agriculture Committee, Dr. Isaac Yawopoku, has criticized the government over what he describes as unfulfilled promises and political gimmicks surrounding cocoa producer pricing. He is called on government to issue an apology to cocoa farmers following the announcement of a new producer price for the 2025-26 crop season. The revised price has been increased from $3,100 to $5,040 per ton and is set to take effect from Thursday, August 7th, that's this coming Thursday. The adjustment was approved by the Producer Price Review Committee, chaired by the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasel Atuforsen. Addressing the media, the ranking member on the Agri Committee, Dr. Isaac Opoku, criticized government for failing to honor its campaign promise of paying 600 Ghana cedis per bag to cocoa farmers.
228.75 Ghana cedis. You will recall that in the run-up to the December 7th presidential and parliamentary elections, the then opposition members of the NDC, led by Honorable Dr. Eric Opoku, the then ranking member for Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs of Committee of Parliament, now the Minister for Food and Agriculture, and Honorable Dr. Kasel Atuforsen, the minority leader then, and now the Minister for Finance, informed Ghanaians that cocoa farmers were being shortchanged and that Cocoa Board was cheating cocoa farmers big time. Honorable Eric Opoku, on various campaign platforms, including a meeting with cocoa farmers at Dadia Swaba in the Ahafo region, consistently promised cocoa farmers a producer price of 6,000 Ghana cedis per bag. Honorable Atuforsen, on the other hand, promised to pay cocoa farmers 7,000 cedis per bag if they won power. What happened to these numerous promises by Honorable Dr. Eric Opoku and Honorable Dr. Kasel Atuforsen? Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we want you to know, what price the Chief Executive of Cocoa Board was referring to when he promised cocoa farmers that the 2025-2026 farm gate price will be far in excess of what Cote d'Ivoire was paying to the Ivorian cocoa farmer. Is it the same as what the Minister of Finance has announced? Today, the Ivorian farmer at the current exchange rate is receiving the equivalent of 3,635 Ghana cedis per bag of 64 kilos. A staggering 407 Ghana cedis more than what Cocoa Board is paying. This stark difference presents an irresistible incentive for smugglers to divert Ghanaian cocoa across the border, particularly leading to a mass exodus of our prized main crop beans from the border regions, especially in the Western South, Western North, Bono Ahafo, and the Volta. What was the promise by His Excellency, the president to pay 70% of the FOB price to farmers when he addressed farmers during his thank you tour in the Bono and Western regions. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, when the world market price peaked at $10,000 per ton, the NDC incited cocoa farmers to demand nothing than $6,000 per ton, which translated to 6,000 Ghana cedis per bag. This year, 2025, the world market price peaked at $12,000 per ton. So where is this $7,200 per ton coming from? If for nothing at all, today's world market price is $8,211.23 per ton. And ladies and gentlemen, you can do your own cross-checking. You can Google and find out. You can ask what is the world market price on the international market in terms of dollars today. And you will know whether this figure I'm quoting is the right one or what the finance minister quoted is the right one. So, at today's world market price of 8,211, the 70% translates to 84,986.23 Ghana cedis per ton, or 3,718 Ghana cedis per bag, and not the 3,228.75 Ghana cedis per bag. You can do your own calculation. Today's at the international market, the price is 8,211.23.
So that's the minority official response to the cocoa price, new price announced by government yesterday. Now, concerns escalates over the worsening infrastructure challenges at Accra Academy, where overcrowded and aging facilities are seriously undermining effective teaching and learning. However, the headmaster, Owusu, warns that the end of the robot track system under the free senior high school policy has doubled the students' population, placing intense pressure on the school's resources. Without immediate government support, the situation risks disrupting education further. Joy News' Stephen Mensah has more in this report.
Built to house only 300 students in 1931, Accra Academy now struggles to accommodate almost 5,000, a surge triggered by the end of the free senior high school double-track system. At Accra Academy, the reality of overcrowding is no longer just an inconvenience. It's a daily battle for students and teachers. Classrooms are packed, teachers are stretched thin, and the quality of education that once made Accra Academy one of Ghana's most prestigious schools is under threat.
As things stand now, we don't even have enough spaces. In the next 2 years, all schools are supposed to be even on a single track. But the current population, with only 2 tracks in school, we are having serious challenges with the numbers in the classrooms. And as things stand now, the assembly hall, which was used by the few students then, and I'm talking about a population of less than about 300. They cannot accommodate more than that. And currently the population stands at 5,500 almost. So that brings its challenges.
Owusu, headmaster of the school, says the shortage of classrooms and housing for teachers is disrupting effective teaching and learning.
My class size should not even exceed 50, but we have over 70 students in some classrooms, 69, 68, and that makes it very difficult looking at the numbers in the rooms for even teachers to be able to move around, to be able to consciously attend to students, the challenges they have, even as teaching goes on. Within the next 2 years, as I mentioned, with all the students supposed to be on a single track for adequate teaching and learning to take place, that is what is required.
On security concerns, he insists the school has implemented robust measures to safeguard students and staff.
As a school, we have even installed security cameras at certain places to cover so that we can at least monitor and supervise the students well. Apart from that, the code of discipline is highly upheld.
The Accra Academy Old Boys Association are calling on stakeholders, key among them being the government and alumni of the school, to, as a matter of urgency, invest in the infrastructural development of the school as it nears its centenary anniversary. For Joy News, I'm Stephen Mensah, Accra.
And President Mahama has announced the creation of a presidential high-level task force to work with leaders across Africa and the world. This group will help design the new global health governance system that fits today's world, not the old one. Now, speaking at the Africa Health Sovereignty Summit here in Accra, which he led, he also announced a new African program called the Sustain Initiative, which will make sure countries spend money on the most important health needs, raise money from African governments, Africans abroad, as well as donors, help countries. Now, support for this has been ongoing in the ongoing program. Let's bring you more on this report.
Health is wealth, and we must reframe the economics of well-being. We must reject the outdated notion that health drains our economies. In truth, health is the engine of productivity and bedrock of inclusive growth. We must therefore urge our ministers of finance to treat health as a capital investment, to encourage sovereign wealth funds to allocate resources to biotech, to diagnostics, and resilient infrastructure. And what are the new commitments? Today I'm pleased to announce two significant commitments. The first is the Presidential High-Level Task Force on Global Health Governance. This will be a convening platform to engage global and continental partners to redesign the health governance systems for the world we live in now, not the world of yesterday. The second will be the launch of the Sustain Initiative, and this means scaling up sovereign transitions and institutional networks. This is a bold African-led platform that will align our national budgets with our health priorities, will mobilize sovereign, diaspora, and philanthropic capital into our health systems. It will foster cross-border learning, innovation, and accountability. And I extend an open invitation to all nations represented here to join us in building an African health investment ecosystem that is driven by purpose and is powered by equity and anchored in our sovereignty. And so, to conclude, the Accra Declaration for Health Sovereignty that we are discussing in this summit is more than a policy forum. It is a moral call to action. It is a strategic milestone and a continent-wide awakening. It is our greatest public good. And so let the world hear this from Accra. Africa's pain is not a deficit. It is a death of perspective. Africa's healing is not a plea. It is a rallying cry for sovereignty. Our sovereignty is not isolation. It is co-creation.
Well, in his speech, the Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, warned that global health aid is projected to decline by 40% this year.
As you all know, sudden and steep cuts to aid are now causing the most severe disruptions to health systems since the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to WHO's latest analysis, health aid is projected to decline by up to 40% this year compared to just 2 years ago. This is not a gradual shift. It's a cliff edge. Life-saving medicines are sitting in warehouses, Health workers are losing jobs, clinics are closing, and millions are missing care. We must all adjust to this new reality. But in this crisis lies an opportunity to shake off the yoke of aid dependency and embrace a new era of sovereignty, self-reliance, and solidarity. In 2023, Africa received $74 billion in aid, but lost $90 billion to illicit financial flows and $55 billion to corporate tax exemptions. So Africa lost much more than it gained from aid. And this is unacceptable. One practical solution is health taxes. A 50% price increase on harmful products like tobacco, alcohol, and sugary drinks could generate an additional $3.7 trillion globally within 5 years and save millions of lives. Beyond domestic reforms, global change is essential.
Well, the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, made a strong push for Africa to embrace traditional medicine. He also called for the establishment of a health fund for Africa, just like the Peace Fund exists.
I believe that we need to do more with traditional medicine. 80% of the drugs we buy in the pharmacies have their origin in herbs. And what is happening is that these trees are being cut, they are being destroyed, and they have not extracted enough from the herbs. I learned a lesson from there. So the herbs that we have in our villages and rural areas are useful, and even the pharmaceuticals of the world have 80% of what they sell to us having their origin from herbs. At the family and community level, we can use more herbs than we are using traditional medicine. At the continental level, just as we have now risen to have a peace fund, I believe we can have a health fund for Africa. And this health fund can be managed by Africa Development Bank. And the source, to start with, something like $100 for flying into Africa or flying out of Africa, but not for traveling within Africa. And then, of course, we can see what else we can do to enhance that fund. But we need health fund for Africa.
Well, the former UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown urged African leaders to make investments in their new health system more, pronounced.
Crucially, this new model would shift the emphasis of health policy from outsiders managing the delivery of services and driving policy to local providers running them, giving precedence to what should have always been the case: the local delivery of local solutions, health run by the people for the people, the outcomes dictated by people on the ground. Now, I know that this important transition, which you are pushing forward with in your proceedings today, will also increase funding. In each of your countries, you will chart your own course, but I will stress to my counterparts in the North that we have a responsibility to help fund this transition. And here there is great potential from innovative approaches, such as guarantees provided by high-income countries. But as you know as well, there are taxes locally. On tobaccos, we tax tobacco at 80% in the United Kingdom. Alcohol, we tax at 70%, as well as taxes on sugary beverages, with the dual benefit of raising revenue while curbing use of products harmful to health and costly for health budgets. So you who are assembled in Accra can be the leaders of this transformation, supporting countries to successfully transition from external dependence to a new engagement founded in full country ownership and leadership, with new partnerships to support a holistic, all of government, all of society approach to development, and to embrace this new compact, the Accra Compact, to create a better future for all of us. I applaud President Mahama's and the other African leaders who are grasping the mantle and working to drive global change.
Well, before we go, armed military personnel who assaulted Joy News journalist Carlos Calone has been detained in a military guard room. The detention follows mounting pressure from the media and some government organizations demanding justice for Carlos. His cameraman and an eyewitness who were attacked during a demolition exercise coverage at the Spintex Road in Accra. Now, Mr. Abraham Maliba spoke on Newsfile on what is being done regarding the matter.
I saw the beating and I was shocked to my bone marrow because I thought that the police should have been the one supervising this work and not the military. And I'm happy that the president has, in his own words, ordered the military to investigate the matter. And I'm told, and I can inform you, that the military men are in guard room now and investigations are going on. But the larger picture is that...
That is to say they have been interdicted?
Because I'm told that the army don't have interdiction. What they have is to put you in the guard room.
Yeah. So that's what I'm told. That's synonymous to interdiction. So to speak,
that's why I was so careful not to use the word interdiction.
And that's our show for today. For more stories, log on to our website, manjoonline.com. GPRTU, you just GRTCCs 20% fair hike, says it wasn't consulted. Minority Slums government over unfulfilled cocoa price promise. More on manjoonline.com. Whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I hope it's profitable. My name is Elton Brobe. See you tomorrow, same time. We have an exclusive with Cabinet J. Japan, the presidential aspirant for the MPP, tomorrow on the show. Stay put.